Hey guys, Oscar Mini here, and this is the ASUS Zenbook 13 OLED with model number UX325. It's powered by the Intel Core i7 processor, that's the 11th generation. Now the major aspect that matters to other techies like myself is if this computing device here actually has that processing power to back up this shiny and perfect looking design, more like beauty with brains. This is a review unit of the ASUS Zenbook 13 OLED. Let's find out what you get for about $1,000 or 520,000 naira here in Nigeria, the features, and whether it's worth shelling out that sum for this laptop. And so without taking much of your time, yo guys, let's get started. Running through the items you get from within the box for this item for the first time, you should expect to see the user guide, a 65-watt USB-C adapter, a USB-C to 3.5mm jack adapter, and this nice looking ASUS sleeve. You can get this laptop in two colors, the lilac gray and the pine gray. At first touch and feel, this is a very light laptop, coming in shy of 1 kilogram, about 1.14 kg. Obviously made out of aluminum, this is actually 13.9mm in thickness, and I wonder if laptops get any thinner. This is definitely the thinnest and lightest laptop I have used in recent times. As far as durability, this thing packs a lot of positive ratings, like having the MIL STD 810G US standard for reliability and durability. That is to say, it's quite tough despite the size. While we are still on the build quality of this laptop, let's have a tour of the I/O ports on the Zenbook 13. Usually when you go all light and thin, the first thing manufacturers give up are basically the ports, and that's not exactly the case here, as ASUS retained a ton of what I find necessary. You get to the left side a full HDMI 2 port. You can also see two Thunderbolt 4 ports, which aside data transfer are used to juice up charge on this device. Also next to those is the LED battery indicator to show when this laptop is being charged. The right side has a regular USB-A Gen 3.2 port for fast transfer speed and a micro SD card reader. Now, do I love the fact that you're getting a micro SD card reader on the laptop? I don't think it's really important for a lot of people. Would have preferred seeing a full SD card slot. There's also an indicator next to that to show when the laptop is being powered on. You also get Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5 in terms of connectivity for the ASUS Zenbook 13. Now, remember when I mentioned you get a USB-C to 3.5mm jack adapter? Yeah, that's for audio connections, since this laptop doesn't have the audio 3.5mm jack ports on it. So this adapter helps you convert the USB port, a Type-C port, to an audio port for those of us who still like wired audio connection. As far as speakers go, the ASUS Zenbook 13 here has a Harman Kardon certified stereo speaker configuration. Of course, there's a limit to what you can fit in this small chassis, thus you wouldn't expect the most bass heavy sounding pair of speakers, but the speakers on here actually sound pretty well. Both of the speakers can be found at the bottom side of this laptop, and I think that design choice here will be as a result of the lack of space or placement for the speakers on the top sides close to the keyboard of this laptop. Now let's talk about the keyboard on the Zenbook 13. Before that, the hinge design on the Zenbook 13 tilts and angles the keyboard in a way that makes it more comfortable to type on this laptop. This is about the standard keyboard size you get for any laptop around this size. Of course, for this size, you shouldn't expect a numeric pad, but we've got something here that ASUS introduced on the trackpad. So when you tap at the top right corner of the trackpad for about a second, a numeric pad appears on the trackpad, making the trackpad a dual purpose part on this laptop. And I really do love that feature. So here's a little typing test from this laptop. So this is a backlit keyboard with 3 levels of brightness, very comfortable to type on. You have a 1.4mm travel distance, which is quite similar to those on the M1 MacBook Pro. Something I would use all day if I had to. You just have to know that this keyboard needs some form of getting used to. For instance, I prefer a larger left shift key because most times I'm always hitting on the backslash key instead of the shift key with my pinky. And also the backspace key feels a little stretched out. Now, once you use this laptop for a day or so, you should get used to the arrangement of the keys on this keyboard, but that's about the experience for me on the keyboard with the Zenbook 13. This display is the major reason you should even consider the ASUS Zenbook 13. Spec-wise, you get a 13.3-inch Full HD resolution, that's 1920 by 1080p OLED panel, about 400 nits of brightness, up to 60 Hz refresh rate, 8-bit color depth, and standard dynamic range color space. I was actually stunned that I could easily color grade on this display and get about the same experience as I do on my $800 monitors in the studio here. It's actually mind-blowing. One more thing I expected for this display was to get a touch-enabled display, but you don't get that here. It's a regular OLED panel. Now, because this is OLED, you might be worried about OLED burn-in issues right here, but there's a feature on the My ASUS app that is catered to handling that kind of issue and should come in handy from time to time when you use the ASUS Zenbook 13. Now let's talk about the performance on this laptop. Performance is a big part of getting a laptop, and anyone who wants to shill $1,000 on a Windows laptop evidently has an expectation that should be met. Before we run the benchmark and stuff for this laptop, here are some specs of the unit I have here. I've got my unit here with 8 gigs of LPDDR4 RAM, 512 gigs of M.2 NVMe storage, really fast with high read and write speeds, and the Intel Core i7 processor. The 11th generation of this form of Intel processor. You won't be able to change the memory configuration on your laptop, so make sure to buy exactly what you need or go for the higher than 8 gigabytes of RAM if you think you might need an upgrade in the nearest future. Video memory is something a lot of creatives will want to know about for such a laptop. Intel Iris Xe graphics is what you get here with a dedicated 4 gigabytes video memory on here. I know that's not the best thing out there, but it's pretty much okay for the price and the form factor you get for this laptop. When you need more computing power on this ASUS Zenbook, you can easily launch the performance mode to get the most out of it. With this, the fans obviously kick in and it gets a little bit loud, even though that gives you the best performance here. I wouldn't recommend running this laptop in that mode all the time. And of course, it drains more power from the laptop and needs to be plugged in to get the best working performance mode with this laptop. Now here's my Geekbench score after running the test on this laptop. Other features you might want to know about would include having the My ASUS app, which you can use to remotely control this laptop, access the files on here, and use a smartphone's camera when you need a webcam, and a whole lot more. Now, speaking of webcams, the camera on here is a 720p camera with support for Windows Hello to unlock your laptop, and that's something I have come to love about Windows laptops. Hey guys, Oscar Mini here, and this is a webcam camera test for the ASUS Zenbook 13. And I'd like to hear from you guys what you think about the quality. Is this something that you can use for your Zoom calls? Do you think it's passable, or do you dislike the quality from this webcam? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you guys. You get a 67 watt-hour battery on here, which could be charged using the 60 watts USB-C charging brick, which I mentioned earlier in the video. I got about 8 hours while surfing the web with this laptop. As long as you have light apps running in the background, this has a solid battery life, although ASUS claims about 13 hours of battery life, but from my test, about 8 hours of what I got on a full charge. Are there certain things I feel could have been better with this laptop? Well, certainly. At the maximum settings, this laptop is a little bit too noisy if you ask me, except you do not want to push this to the limits. You definitely get to notice how loud it becomes or sounds when it's in that performance and stretched out mode. As far as the graphical intensive applications, using them on this laptop, or maybe my workflow, which is really heavy, like having to edit 4K, 42 10-bit footage, like 3 layers of those with 3 layers of Lumetri colors on all of them and other tweaks here and there. I simply noticed that this laptop isn't that big for a heavy graphic use. Of course, that's expected for a thin and light ultrabook like this one. You shouldn't expect the best graphic GPU performance like something you paid $5,000 for. So in summary, you're getting a $1,000 or 520,000 naira laptop, which is really light, portable, durable, and caters towards productivity and style, I would say. This is actually well built for what it is, and the display is the major reason you might want to keep this one. Like they say, once you go OLED, there's no going back, and this actually can attest to that fact. So that's been it for my review for the ASUS Zenbook 13. Subs if you love this video, and do not forget to hit that like button to help us with the algorithm, as we really will appreciate that. That's been it for this review. I'm gonna catch you guys in the next one. Day.